started. Welcome all. Great to see you all. Have a nice Friday afternoon. So before we start, I just want to paste the QR code again for those of you who have just joined us. Please register your attendance, and I posted the QR code. So welcome all. Welcome to the second half, lectures 3 and 4. Let's just kickstart our lecture. So welcome to lectures 3 and 4. Before we start our lecture, let us cover and review what we covered last class. Remember, we discussed the Eagle and the Dragon, China and US competition. We looked at science fiction. How do we manufacture curiosity and wonder? And we looked at Elon Musk as a live science fiction character. And we looked at new technologies, including quantum supremacy, voice assistants, augmented reality, digital twins, mirror worlds, digital models, drones, space competition, etc. We looked at the jobs of the future and futurist cities. And we had a time travel exercise as well. So remember the takeaways of last class. I want you to look at these takeaways in the next 1 minute. Just remind yourself, if you want to take a note, which one of these takeaways are most useful to you and how can you apply it. In the next 40 seconds, please make a note. What do you want to do about these? How can you implement them in your life? Okay, and the next ones, which ones are you think are most salient to you, useful to you? How can you apply them in your lives? Please take notes as you go over. So here is the life advice. Again, please look at this poster and try to come up with 2 to 3 key things that you can apply from this poster. Is there anything you have missed from this list you need to pay attention to? And finally, how can you put this career advice into work? So have a look at this poster and this career advice. How can you implement these in your life? Think about it. Okay, now let us kickstart today's lecture. What we will do today is a workshop, Heroes of Entertainment and Imagination. We have a lot of exercises as well. So let us get started. So I designed the class as a collective performance art. We review some of the biggest names in entertainment, creativity, and business. We'll touch upon various topics today, from space to magic, basketball to fashion, animation to computer games, film, music to architecture. So it will be a transdisciplinary tour of storytelling and creative careers. In addition, we will have a series of exercises in asset creation and imagination. In particular, one of these, you will practice screenwriting, world building, and storytelling. And there will be a squash. Okay, so let us kickstart the workshop now. Here's the puzzle for you. UVA's Sainsbury Center was shown as a headquarter in one of the most successful science fiction movies of 2019. Which movie was this? Any guesses? Of course, you know it, I think. This is Avengers Endgame. Yes, remembered. It was a Marvel movie. The next puzzle. Which company is the Netflix of e-learning or education? So they combine education and entertainment together. They are the Netflix of education. And they provide proof that celebrities, professional athletes can also be amazing teachers. So they provide classes from celebrities. Which company is this? Any guesses? So this is MASTERCLASS. MASTERCLASS is the name of the company. You can go to masterclass.com to learn more about what they are doing. So the next puzzle, who is the film score composer and record producer for the films of Lion King, Pirates of the Caribbean, Interstellar, Gladiator, Inception, and The Dark Knight? Any guesses? Who was the film score composer for these movies? Okay, Hans Zimmer. So here is his masterclass and his perspective.
In music, you're basically having a conversation. It's a question. In having a conversation, it's a question. There's an answer. Ooh, it's a bit of a dodgy question here. I am convinced that I have no idea how to do your movie. It's always a blank piece of paper. I can tell you everything you need to know in one word. Story. All we're doing, set designer, actor, writer, composer, we try to create worlds. Sherlock, it's a score anybody could do. One microphone on a laptop. Ideas are not limited by budget. The creative process takes place in your head. The interesting ideas come from some kid in a garage in the Bronx. You just need to break through the myth that you can't create a great Hollywood blockbuster on an iPad. Because if you're a story, you can do whatever you want to do. I like writing in D, and it's nice that if you go from it's satisfying. For Batman, 4 French horns on the right, 4 French horns on the left, and they're up in a gallery, up way above the orchestra. 2 notes, but the amount of expressiveness you can put into them. This is a musician's life. Everybody tells you not to do it and get a real job. When all is said and done, and we've built the highest high-rises, we built the fastest machines, there's still going to be room for somebody to tell you a story or somebody to write you a piece of music. The seconds of your life are ticking away. If somebody tells you that there's a rule, break it. That's the only thing that moves things forward. I'm Zimmer, and this is my masterclass.
So the next puzzle, who is this celebrity astronaut? A hint, he's a Canadian. He has a very popular Twitter account. He is Chris Hadfield, and he also talks about space exploration in his masterclass.
The rocket equation, it's a beautiful thing. No astronaut launches through space with their fingers crossed. That's not how we deal with risk. What I learned from 21 years as an astronaut is that the more you know, the less you fear. The reason I wanted to do this masterclass is to share the hidden depths of purpose that are behind space exploration. When the clock hits zero, start focusing and thinking of nothing else but the moment that you're in. Study every system on a spaceship and then boil it down to what I call a one-pager. You've got to be able to solve your problems in one breath. You have to push your lungs forward through the drag of the atmosphere. Crushed into your chair, you're like a leaf in a hurricane. The reason is 1/2 rho v squared s, 16 times the speed of sound. As you accelerate harder and harder, the light blue Florida sky starts to get darker and darker, and then suddenly black. And the engine shut off, and you're weightless. Turn the handle and open the hatch. You pull yourself out into the universe, and now suddenly, when you move your knees, you can feel the searing heat of the sun on one side and the incredibly cold emptiness of space on the other. When you're no longer Earthlings, how do you navigate? You can use the stars. You can actually see how that place where you were raised fits into the overall complexity and reality of the solar system. You start to unavoidably wonder, are we alone in the universe or not? Our technology is just good enough now that some of you taking this masterclass are going to fly in space. Reusable rocket ships give us access to explore like we've never had before. It will be a great moment of introspection for humanity if you're the person who finds that one little fossilized flower on Mars. I'm Chris Hadfield, and this is my masterclass.
So here is the next learning adventure for you. 6 adventures, 6 challenges. Here is your challenge. In the next 2 minutes, I want you to think about and craft and design 6 adventures for yourself in the next 6 weeks. So please come up with 6 adventures for yourself and write them down on a piece of page. What could be adventures that you will be looking forward to every week over the next 6 weeks? Please take notes and design your adventures. Write them down. So this one is not part of the portfolio Tsunaki, but if you select this learning adventure, you can make it part of it. Okay, so you will choose 2 learning adventures and make them a bit detailed. Whichever you choose, try to make them a bit detailedly. You can choose any learning adventure from any lecture. Two of them. Okay. Okay, so please wrap this up. What will be your 6 adventures for the next 6 weeks? Please try to wrap it up. Write them down. And here is your next exercise. I mean, this is part of the same learning adventure, but the second half. So you will design 6 challenges for yourself that you can do in the next 3 months. What could be 6 challenges that you want to set for yourself? Write them down, please. So you will identify 6 challenges for the next 3 months. These can be things like, I want to start writing on Medium, let's say. I want to establish my own YouTube channel, or I want to create my own company or brand online. So what could be some of these challenges? Maybe you want to read a novel. That will be one of your challenges that you have always wanted to read. So what are your own challenges? Please write them down. What could be your 6 challenges? Please keep writing. Please try to wrap it in the next 30 seconds. Okay, so the next part as you can see, I brought squash to the lecture. These are actually pumpkins from Halloween. Okay, so why did I bring them to the class? I did this last year as well. I brought them to the class and everybody looked at them. So I want you to think of scenarios and guesses. Please write them down on the chat box. Why did I bring a squash to the class? Any guesses? Or pumpkin, whatever. So why did I bring them? Maybe there could be some color variation. Any guesses? Maybe I want to do some gymnastics. That's my question to you, Tsunak. Why? You will guess. So write down your guesses from the chat box. Maybe I will, I think that I could balance these. Okay, I fancy a snack. I mean, but I need to, I don't know if I fancy eating this. Maybe I'll do some fashion show or juggling skills. That's a good one, Charlotte. Yes, I don't have any juggling skills though, so that's the lost cause. I'm afraid. Carving, that's the good one. Cool, what else? Nice guesses, everyone. Cool. Okay, so because I think today is Halloween. Yes, that's good. That's a good one. Cool. Each part of the skin means something. Oh, cool. This is some really good symbolism there. Yes, we can map the these marks. Exactly. Nice. Inspiration to start your own vegetable patch. Cool, Lucy. Thank you. These are really some good ideas there. Thank you for your guesses. This was great. So we will come back to this. Here's the next puzzle. Who is the game designer who designed SimCity or The Sims? He's the founder of Max's company. Who designed SimCity, The Sims? Any guesses? Of course, I can't see them right now, but like if you have guessed, I will see later on. Will Wright. Will Wright is the person, and here is his masterclass. Here's a perspective on game design.
Hi. When you play something like The Sims, the player is actually the one building the rule set. I'm giving the player a toy, and the player is turning it into a game. It's almost magical. As a designer, you're actually dealing with two computers. First, the electronic one sitting on the table in front of you, but more importantly, the player's imagination, the player's brain. Being a game designer turned into a lifelong learning process where I can involve in any subject I want to, and it's tax deductible. I'm going to expose you to a number of fundamental concepts about game design. To dive deep into the psychology of the player, the mental modeling that goes on, how to build emergence, surprise, and to try to predict what's going to motivate players and pull them in. You can take almost anything and make it a fascinating interactive experience. You watch somebody play a game, most of what they're doing is failing. You need to design the game such that failure is interesting and understandable so that you can go back and say, aha.
Oh, jeez.
This is actually kind of fun. Games and film have a very different emotional palette. Film is totally based upon empathy. You can look at characters that are happy if you feel happy. The kind of emotions that you can actually get out of games are very different. Things like guilt or pride, teamwork. A lot of that is based upon agency. As soon as you take that away from the players, it's kind of like being in a movie theater where all of a sudden the screen goes black. That's what it's like to take the control away from the player. Generation that's creating games now has so many opportunities. You're having a vision for something that's going to go out and change people. So find something you're passionate about. Start exploring. I'm Will Wright. And this is a simulation of my master class.
Each computer game hosted a live concert experience for the gamers. So this game was also the computer game that transformed video game storytelling by climaxing in an apocalyptic fashion. So at the end of the game, in one season, they sucked all the gamers into a black hole. So which futurist game is this? I'm sure you are familiar with this one. It's one of the most popular in the world, Fortnite. And it is, I think, also one of the most innovative. And in its live concerts, almost 20 million people enjoyed live entertainment through their avatars. And that's the future of entertainment. Who is the little guy of basketball? He's called the little guy of basketball. He rose to the top of the NBA, not through his power and strength, but through his crazy ball handling skills. Who is this person? Any guesses? Anyone who's familiar with the NBA and the world of basketball will know him, I think. Stephen Curry. So this is his masterclass.
Growing up, I was always the littlest guy on my team. Even now, I think I still am. You don't listen to what anybody says you can't do because you know that you can. You ready? Being able to shoot, all about becoming a more complete and confident ball handler. To maximize the quickest release possible for you, lock in on the path that the ball takes from your catch-ready position to your final release point. So that's how you can shoot the same from whether it's in the paint all the way out to the D3 area and knock it down. When you catch and you're ready to shoot, I'll look where the rim and the net meet. Put that basketball right on those hooks, and that's what I lock in on.
Curry splits the defense behind the back.
Stop it right there, everyone. My defender has clearly established his lead foot. Make him open his whole body and create a driving angle. I have all the control, all the leverage in the world right here. He didn't travel though. Good gracious.
When we overload ourselves in the workout with 2 basketballs or a tennis ball, it makes the game seem a lot slower and you're able to process things a lot better.
That's why we're here, to get better. Everybody be tough. You might have to overcome a lot more than you got next to you, but that's what makes it all worth it. No matter where you are in your progression, we're all in the same boat. I'm still searching for perfection and full potential in this game. The time is now for you to start your journey to find ways to get better. That's why we're all here. You need to get in the gym and get to work. Time's ticking.
So here's your next learning adventure. It is on living exponentially and avoiding mediocrity. So there are 2 posters. Here's the first one. In the 120 seconds ahead of you, please go over this poster and think of 5 practical action points on how to implement these suggestions in your daily life. So I created this poster. It is called Living Exponentially. So how can you live exponentially? I created a lot of ideas and strategies. So please have a look and try to understand what is going on here. And if you see ideas that you can implement that are useful to you, please make a note of them. Choose 5 of these action points. And make note, please. Make a note of 5 action points as you look at this poster and try to understand it. This poster is important because it is a summary of what we are trying to do actually in this module. If you want to create your own assets, especially creative assets, I think this exponential curve is very important. You need to start with small actions, make a lot of experiments, and improve yourself. Try to improve yourself every day. And take a very long-term view. Take a long-term view. So please choose 5 of them and think about how you would like to implement these. Please keep writing. How do you put these suggestions into action? And remember, you need to start right now. Don't leave it until later. Start right now, just this weekend, tonight. Do something. Okay, please try to wrap this up. Let's continue with the next one now. Here's the next one. This is a poster on avoiding mediocrity. How can you avoid mediocrity? Again, please, in the next 100 seconds, go over the poster. Think about 5 practical action points. How can you implement these in your life? Please come up with some action points and ideas on implementing 5 of them. These are all strategies and actions for avoiding mediocrity. Which ones are most useful, salient to you? Is there anything original to you from this list? So please choose 5 of them and take some notes, create some ideas on how to implement these in your life. Okay, try to wrap this up, please. Okay, now in the next 2 minutes, I will open the whiteboard of the class. What did you learn from this exercise? Are there any action points that you want to share with the class? My suggestion, please try to share at least one action point with your classmates. Have you decided on taking any action? Do you have any original idea on how to apply these? It can be about avoiding mediocrity, or it can be about living exponentially. So please share your own strategies with the class, your own ideas. So what I do is I will share the whiteboard now. Okay, and let us kickstart. You can type your ideas. What will be your action points? Let us write them here on this whiteboard. So to kickstart, I have, for example, started reading novels. Learn from my failures. That's a good one. What else? Start writing, please. Share them. What did you decide? So you can use this T, click on the T, and type up your responses. What did you come up with? Please share them with the class. Watched some TED Talks. Okay, cool. With some keywords, you can easily find thousands of TED Talks, by the way. That's a good resource for sure. All those people are crazy, passionate people who know what they are talking about. Keep updated with articles, especially on areas that you want to learn from. That's a good idea. What else? How do you put these into action? Don't be distracted by mindless entertainment, okay? Like even whenever you're watching something, try to turn it into some learning. That's what matters. Listen to a new album, which will give you relaxation and happiness. What else? Take some risks, but what kind of risks? Can you go a bit more specific? For example, do you want to start writing online? Or do you want to create your own company? More regimented sleeping schedule, note down more ideas, learn Korean in 3 months. I love this. That's a great challenge. Okay, what else? What will you do? I can teach you, okay? Please teach us. Teach your ideas, share your ideas. That's the great, I mean, we are open to learning. We are here to learn, right? So let us learn from each other. Quit smoking and run more than 10 kilometers per week. That's a great one. Complete an online course. Okay, cool. Go on my phone less. Okay, that's very hard to do, but I admire. Okay, there are some great doodles happening as well. Don't call in sick often. Go to Olympia. Okay. What else? Gain confidence. That's a good one. That's a good goal. Yes. Fitness, no pain, no gain. Yes. Those are, yeah, good philosophies actually. Any specific actions? Like I love some of them, like which were really specific. For example, quit smoking and run more than 10 kilometers. That's very specific. I love that. Learn Korean in 3 months. That's very specific. Like, can you come up with more specific actions? Coding course. That's the great one. Yeah. Everybody would benefit from a coding course nowadays. Okay, shall we wrap this down? Learn to do spilts in 1 month. Sell my brand clothes to 100 customers. Cool. Learn more about cultures. Read a book in 1 month, fiction or non-fiction. Work with a mentor to gain professional insights. Cool. That's a great strategy actually. Okay, cool. Amazing suggestions. Thank you. I'll stop this and go back to our lecture now. Thank you for your suggestions. So here's the next puzzle. Who is the inventor of Spanx? So she used $5,000 savings to develop this idea, and she became the youngest self-made female billionaire at the age of 41. So she's the inventor of Spanx. I think you know her, Sara Blakely. And here is what she says on entrepreneurship. Very wise words. Let's learn from her.
I'm going to tell you something. Every person in their life has had $1 million idea. No doubt. No doubt. It's just we got to take action. You definitely do not need to go to business school to become an entrepreneur. I started Spanx as a frustrated consumer. I had $5,000 set aside in savings. I simply wanted to be able to wear white pants to a party and have nothing show underneath it. The entire time, everyone told me no and said, this is not a great idea. But let me tell you one thing. That means you've come up with something brand new. Take it as a compliment. This masterclass is for anyone out there who's in search of an idea, has an idea and doesn't know what to do next, is wanting to start a business, or has already started a business. I guess in some way I'm saying I think this class is for everybody. Before I started Spanx, I actually was selling fax machines door to door. I got kicked out of building after building, and one day I thought, I'm in the wrong movie. I called the producer, called the director. This is not my life. What happened? I can tell you the things that I focused on very early on. 3 things. Make it, sell it, build awareness. People are looking for that. I want to be a $100 million company in the first year, and I'm going to raise as much money as I possibly can, and just check in with yourself on that and be willing to start small. Why are you doing this? What's the why? And who are you in the world? Share that part of the story. I mean, the more vulnerable you're willing to be, the deeper the connection will be with your consumers. I hope that you're tuning in and you're seeing me, and I become the example that you needed to say, check, yes, you can. I'm Sara Blakely, and this is my masterclass.
So here's the lesson. Super successful people are constantly trying to learn, experiment, and try out new things. So they vow to constantly grow. They fill every spare part and moment in their lives with self-education and learning. They don't do this because this is right. They do it because it is their passion. So you need to challenge yourself to new heights and make a lot of mistakes. And if you are not making enough mistakes, then that means you are not trying hard enough. You need to make a lot of experiments and learn from these mistakes. So give yourself a lot of opportunities for failure. That's very important. Here's the next one. Who is the producer, showrunner, writer of Grey's Anatomy and Scandal? Here's a hint. She is one of the strongest female TV producers in the world. Her net worth, $140 million. She just signed a $100 million contract with Netflix. So who is she? Shonda Rhimes, of course.
I think this might be one of my most important points, so I'm going to sit up for it. What's amazing and exciting for you is that there are as many different types of dramas as you can make up in your head. I'm opening doors to my office so that the next generation of writers can exist. I really want you to come away with the knowledge of what it is to write for television, how to put together a television pilot, writing dialogue, character, how a writer's room works. I would have killed to know that. And you're going to get to hear all the stuff that I never really ever tell anybody. You have to think about your first 10 pages being all about who is my character? How do I reveal my character as best as I possibly can? Take a pilot that you know well and break it down. And so I thought we would do that with the Scandal pilot. In order to break those rules, you have to understand what the rules are. I graduated from college and really felt lost. I mean, truly felt lost. I used to drive around the corner from the studio and cry all lunch hour, and I would come home at the end of a very long day, and I would pull out my laptop, and I would work on my script. That script is the script that got me an agent, that got me a job, that got things happening for me. People are dying for good writers right now. Remember that you belong in any room that you enter, and if you don't feel like you truly belong, act like you belong. What you should be doing right now is sitting down to start writing immediately. There are so many people out there who feel like television has these, secret keys to its kingdom. Let's take those keys and unlock the doors. Let's figure out what's back there. I'm going to tell you what I know. I'm Shonda Rhimes.
The next one. Who is the famous architect known for his use of bold, postmodern shapes, unusual fabrications in his buildings? This is one of his buildings, as you can see in the picture. Who is this world-famous architect? He is Frank Gehry. And here is the next puzzle. She's a Belgian fashion designer known for her iconic wrap dresses. She created her own fashion brand. Her fashion brand, DVF, is available in 70 countries. Who is she? Diane von Furstenberg, and she also has a masterclass on creating fashion brands.
Is at the service of the brand. What is this class about? It is a marketing class. Go on the selling floor, deal with the consumers, help them in the fitting rooms. You have to listen, you have to see how people live. It's all about the power of the image. Communication, visual merchandising, the packaging, the logo. The world is completely product polluted. Too much everything, in every color, in every price. So what would your brand bring? Why would it be different than anyone? I was 20-year-old in this factory. I said, will you please allow me to make some samples that I will try to sell in America? With a child in my belly and with 2 big suitcases full of little dresses, I sailed to America. That was the beginning of my business. I had huge successes and huge failures. And the only reason why I was able to survive is because I did instinctively what is now being taught. You have to be close to who you are, what you want, how you want it, because all through your career, the closer you put the product to the consumer and the more authentic you are, the longer you will last. I am Diane von Furstenberg, and this is my master.
So here's a lesson. The biggest failures in our lives don't result from initiatives or projects or moonshots that we have tried and then failed. So think of these as journeys of learning and journey of experimentation. You have tried it, it didn't work. These are not biggest failures. No, the biggest failures are failures of imagination. We don't dream enough, big, or imagine big enough. So we don't dream, imagine big dreams, big projects, big solutions. We do not challenge ourselves. We do not stretch, grow ourselves. We do not aim high enough. And we don't take enough risks. We don't go beyond our comfort zones. We don't scare ourselves. We don't dare. And this is our biggest failure. So if you want to avoid failure, avoid failures of imagination. So our squash pumpkins are here. Here's the next part of this challenge. Here is the challenge. I have a secret that involves this squash. Okay. What could this secret be? I want you to imagine a story and write a story surrounding this secret in the next 2 to 3 minutes. What is this secret? I have a dark secret regarding this squash, let's say. What could it be? Please imagine about it, and in the next 2 minutes, write about it. You will write a short story. So what could be this dark secret about the squash? Please create a story. And if you want, you can also share your story, that secret, from the chat box if you want. Use your imagination. You stole it from a Foster Children's Home Garden. That's a good one. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Will Wright, you have known Will Wright. That's good. Sorry, I saw this late. What else? What could be my dark secret, guys? Come up with some scenarios right now. In my last year's class, it was in January, one of the students said, I started coronavirus and it started from this squash. So what could other scenarios be? Think of some dark secrets and write them down, please. Think of a dark story about me. So here's the QR code for those of you who haven't registered. Please do register. Okay, let's try to wrap this up. Please wrap up your story. Anyone who wants to share it, you can type it up very quickly. Give a summary from the chat box, just for fun. Okay, let's continue with the next part. Here is your learning adventure. You will create your own masterclass now. Imagine that masterclass has come to you and told you that you will teach a masterclass. You know, one of you on the whiteboard said that I want to teach you. Yeah, this is your opportunity. Then, like, what would you like to teach as a masterclass? Okay, imagine that you are creating your own masterclass. In the next 120 seconds, please think about alternative masterclass titles that you can teach. Think of the titles and write them down, please, in the next 100 seconds. 120 seconds. What could be the titles of your master classes? Do some brainstorming, write them down. It doesn't have to be right away, of course. You can teach it later on, whenever you are ready. And think about what you are really excited about. Think about your natural talents and strengths. Think about your passions. If you are passionate about something, it will be easier to teach that as a masterclass. So please write down your alternatives. You might think about your hobbies, curiosities, passions. And think of the titles. And if you're done, think about how would you teach it? How would you make this interesting? How would you make this class really useful and interesting? Think about some strategies, if you like. Okay, please wrap this up. I recommend that you continue this exercise whenever you can. You know, sometime in the weekend. Let's say if you were to teach your own classes, what would you teach? And start the contents of it. Maybe start teaching it. You can actually start teaching it right away. There are online teaching platforms. Just to gain some experience, you can kickstart as a teacher online right away, you know, or you can shoot some videos and upload them on YouTube or Instagram, some online platforms, and you can start build your own YouTube channel, or you can start your own podcast on this. Even like, don't wait. You know, you can start your own creative assets. If you want to teach, just start teaching it. That's it. Don't wait for anyone's permission. You can do this. If you want to do it, just do it. Okay, this is a nasty puzzle. I shouldn't have included this. Sorry for that. But this is the F word for success. Okay, I'll skip this. Okay, here's a mini workshop on asset creation. Here's a puzzle. He was a lawyer. He started staying up late between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. every night, and he started writing mystery novels. And he wrote for 4 hours in the middle of the night, every night. And he finished writing his book in 6 months. And he repeated this. Every 6 months, he finished the book. So right now, he's one of the best-selling mystery novelists in the world. And he published more than 40 books in 20 years. So he finishes a book every 6 months. Who is this person? If you are into mystery thrillers, detective novels, I think you will know him. Any guesses? David Baldacci. And here is how he talks about his asset creation. This is important because I want you to create your own assets in your project. You know, the 7i project or entrepreneurial option. You will come up with your own assets. How do you do that?
My wife likes to tell people that he looks very nice. He's a very nice guy. He's a very calm guy. But he has a dark side to him. As a thriller writer, my job is to look out into the real world, see the problem side. I create the problems, then during the course of the novel, I solve them. You don't want the reader to sort of settle back and be really comfortable and like drifting through these pages. You want to grab them by the throat right from the get-go and hurdle them through the next 450 pages. I wanted to get into the weeds with all of you about how I go about my craft. Great characters, how do you come up with them? How do you pace a story so that people can't stop turning the pages? All the things that go into making a successful writing career, I've tried to deliver to you during this master class. I was a lawyer when I first started writing my first novel. I would spend time with my family. They would go off to bed, and around 10 o'clock, I would go downstairs, and I would write till 2 in the morning every day, 7 days a week, and I did that for years. If you want to be creative writing stories, you have to be very creative finding the time to write those stories. Research for me is critical. This binder is my nuke binder. And the section I'm going to read to you is about 2.5 pages long, 2.5 pages versus this. Do this. Leave almost all of it out. You will thank me later. I had insecurities. You will have insecurities. So any writer out there who's doubting their ability to actually sit down and tell a story, I'm telling you, I got your back on this. Writers change the world. Books change the world. As much as you might need a class from me, I and the rest of the publishing world and the world in general, we need you a lot more. I'm David Baldacci, and this is my masterclass.
So here is the lesson. Super successful people take a long-term view, develop smart systems of creative work, and they always carve out the time required to create their own assets that will make everything enjoyable and profitable. The strugglers, on the other hand, they live from project to project, deadline to deadline, jig to jig. They are always too busy. So it is exhausting for them, demoralizing. They are always depleted. So they cannot create their own creative assets for the future. So how should you do this? Creating your own creative assets is a marathon game. You need to start right now, though, with small steps. You need to create your own game. What is your game? Navigate blue oceans. That means go to places that nobody has gone before. Carve out your own niche. Create your own categories and master that category, own that category. So you will invest in yourself and work on your assets every day, and that means you will compound yourself, your skill set, your knowledge, your networks, and your creative assets over the long term. Think of this in terms of 5 years. If you start doing it right now, in 5 years, you will have a lot of creative assets ready for you. In 10 years, you will be in a much better place. So you need at least a couple of years, and you need a very long-term perspective to make this work. So here is my message to you. Focus on your creative assets, not the career ladder. The career ladder is in decline. It is almost broken. Of course, I don't say that don't get jobs. Of course, you will get a job. Of course, you will work full-time. But you need to create your own assets in your free time, out of thin air, plus some imagination and some hard work. So if you have money, you can buy stocks, you can have investments, okay? You can buy a house, you can buy stocks of companies, etc., and you will get rich in the long term. But if you don't have any money, then your best shot is to create your own creative assets. Why? Because you don't need money for this. You can create them out of thin air. It is just imagination and a bit of hard work. That's it. So think of what you would like to create. Would you like to write a book, create artwork, a software app, an album, a YouTube channel, a podcast, your own blog, start writing on Medium perhaps? So what will you be doing? Please decide on your contribution and write it down in the next 1 minute. What will you be doing? And you can turn this into your asset creation project for this module. Remember, you can do 7i project. You can create a 7i project out of this. Or you can also create your own company. Entrepreneurial business proposal. You can turn it into a business proposal as well. So think of yourself as the artist and as the entrepreneur. What will you be doing? What do you really wish to create? Think of exciting things that only you can create and you want to create and bring to the world. What will they be? Please write them down. So a creative asset is something that is worthwhile, satisfying in itself, but also it will make your life much more easier, much more rewarding, and much more profitable and fun. So you can come up with any type of assets: online assets, reputation assets, your brand; social assets, your network; business assets, your company; systemic assets such as a business model, a productivity system; or you can come up with creative assets such as a book, some music, fashion brand, etc., clothes. So if you have written some ideas, please make sure you start taking a small action right away. So try to do something small every day. Perhaps allocate 1 hour every day. If you don't have 1 hour, you can allocate at least half an hour every day to this. But keep creating, keep doing. And don't break the chain. Do this every day. If you consistently repeat it, then you will be very productive, very creative. Rolling Stones, perhaps, they have produced so many songs, hundreds of them. So quantity is very important. Whatever you create, you need to create a big number of them. For example, let's say you want to create your own YouTube channel. You need to have, there is a rule of 300. You need to have 300 videos before you reach a sizable audience. So if you want to grow your audience on YouTube, you need to develop at least 300 videos. You know, think it really long term and start creating your videos right away. The same with Medium. If you want to write on Medium, let's say, create your own blog, try to have at least 300 blog pieces. Okay, so keep creating a lot of work, but you need to start it right now. It will take you just 2 minutes to create your YouTube channel, just 2-3 minutes. The same with Medium. You can create your Medium channel, Medium blog, in just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that's it. And if you start writing a post, it will take half an hour, maybe 1 hour to do it. The same, you can shoot a video, put it online. It's not a big deal, really. You can do it just in 1 hour or so. So start somewhere, start small, but do it over the long term. That's what matters. So remember, this half, it is not a full semester, of course. We are limited in our time, unfortunately. But in the next month, what do you wish to kickstart for your future? Would you like to do the 7i or the entrepreneurial business proposal? If you choose 7i, this is more like an artistic type of project. This is like a Kickstarter type project. You can create some book, music, something artistic or creative, or any new, something new. Okay, so if you want to do something like that, go to 7i. If you want to come up with your own business, imagine that you established your one-person business. That will be your entrepreneurial business proposal then. Start it right away. Establish your proposal right away. It will be like a Shark Tank pitch. Imagine that you are writing it down and try to sell us your ideas. Okay. So which one will you be choosing? Please make your decision. And please generate some ideas. I think some of you have already started generating some ideas for this. Please develop these ideas. So let me give you one more week on this. Until next week, please try to develop your ideas better and start writing them. Start writing your asset creation project so that next week we can discuss it in groups. So please have an idea. Which option will you be choosing? And what do you wish to create? And remember, this is the only module which will give you the opportunity to build assets for your future. You know, there is no other module which gives credit to you for this. So this is your biggest opportunity. You know, start creating your own assets. Think about the assets, the type of assets you wish to create, and start them right away. Don't think about this like a student. This is not an assignment. I mean, it is an assignment, yes, but do it for your life. Do this for your own future, really. The projects that were most successful in previous years, they were done by students who forgot that they were students. You know, they did this just for fun, just for enjoyment. They loved doing it. And they did such high quality work that they are now making money. You know, one of my students is writing on Medium and making a lot of money on Medium. You can make a lot of money in the long term on your projects. So what do you wish to create? Just do it. Start doing it. Do something real. Create something real and fresh. So my promise to you is that I will also create alongside you. So I will also work very hard. As you know, I am writing almost every day on Medium alongside you. So I'm also working very hard to create my own assets, to become a good role model. My goal is to start writing, drawing, creating for my second book after Self-Making Studio at the same time. And I'm using my Medium posts for this. So I will also be accountable to you. I will also work hard on this. You can check my Medium page. If I upload minimum 4 articles every week. If I don't upload minimum 4 articles every week, please question me. Keep me accountable. Be harsh. You can question me. Why didn't you upload new Medium articles? Be harsh. I will be accountable to you. Okay, so let us be accountable to each other and support each other in our journeys. So for your projects, don't bother for inspiration. It is not coming to you. You need struggle, grit, hard work, urgency instead. So the cold reality is that it is a real struggle to get into your best work. So if you wait to be inspired, you will be waiting a long time. Inspiration will not come. It might not come ever. So the solution is start doing it right now, immediately, in just 5 seconds. You have just 5 seconds to kickstart it. Do something small about it. Take an action right now, tonight. Don't leave it till tomorrow even. You know, do it tonight. Do it this weekend, not later. So, and do it every day, even if it is uncomfortable. Sometimes, let me be honest with you, I don't want to write on Medium sometimes. I'm really too tired. But yet, I still force myself to write an article on Medium. Like, try to do it every day. So let me just share, actually, what I do with you on Medium. I can share it in more details later on. But let me just share. So as you can see, this is my Medium page. And let me show you the statistics. So as you can see here, my statistics are getting higher. So let us start, let's say, a couple of months before, I was around 1,000 views, right? I just started this 6 months ago, by the way, 7 months ago, writing on Medium. So I'm really new on this platform. But as you can see, there's a trajectory of up, 1,000 views, and then I increased it. Sometimes it decreases, of course. But then I reached 5,000 views, as you can see, in September. And then almost 7,000. And then right now I'm 12,000 per month. And as you can see, how many articles do I have? If I show you my stories, here you can see how many articles I published. There are 254 articles, but some of them are just comments. If we extract the comments, I have written about 190 articles in the last 7 or 8 months. Okay, 190 articles. They are all published. Okay, and as you can see, I have also more than 350 drafts. So I'm always coming up with new projects all the time, as you can see. I'm full of ideas all the time. I'm writing every day, all the time. And of course, each of these articles, think of them as an asset. So each of them makes money, okay? So let's go to statistics again. For example, let me show you an example. I watched this Turkish series, okay? Ethos, last weekend. So I spent a lot of time on it. I just published it. As you see, it was read more than 2,400 people. And I mean, it hasn't made much money yet. It's too early, but it is making potential. I mean, it's not just for money. Like, you are building an audience for the long term, okay? And some of my articles, they are making 30 pounds, 40 pounds by itself, okay? So you can make money just by sharing your ideas on Medium, writing on Medium, okay? I'm sharing this journey because it is I'm relatively new in my journey. You know, it has just been 7 months. It is nothing. And I haven't even reached 200 articles. My goal is to reach at least 300 articles, okay? And I wish to repeat this every year. And I wish to do this in the next 10 years. That means if I can repeat this every year, then in 10 years, I will have more than 3,000 articles, okay? That means, hopefully, I will build my own audience, and I can even, if I want to, I can even retire early, you know, financially, because it will sustain me in a couple of years, okay? So you need to think of ways of how to build your future. Try to build multiple income streams, but at the same time, do the things that you are really passionate about. And I don't say that you quit your work. No, I'm working full-time at UEA, and you know, you should also be working full-time. Kickstart your careers, but at the same time, think as an entrepreneur and act like an artist and an entrepreneur at the same time. In your free time, in the weekends, like, work really hard, especially during these years, during your 20s, to create your own assets, build your own future. If you want to get a control and independence of your own future, you need to be creating your own creative assets. That's very critical, okay? And these things imagine that these are like snowballing. They like each of these articles, they are like small snowballs, okay? And I'm like at the top of the mountain. I'm just releasing these small snowballs. Each project, each article is a snowball, okay? But it gets bigger and bigger through time. So imagine that I'm at the top of the mountain, my mountain. The top of the mountain is right now. So I'm doing these, rolling these snowballs right now. And I have rolled over, let's say, nearly 200 of these articles, right? Each of them is a snowball. So what happens through time is, as time passes, these snowballs are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Some of them will be viral. Some of them will be really influential in the long term. Each of them is a seed. Each of them is an investment. And I need hundreds of these, okay? That's the mentality. If you really want to be successful in the long term, give yourself hundreds of opportunities for failure. And among those hundreds, among those hundreds of experiments, some of them will be widely successful. And you will maybe reach millions of people through your work, okay? So that's how creativity works in the long term. And I want you to use this opportunity, this module, to create your own creative assets, okay? That's what matters. So let us go back to the class. Here's the next puzzle. He quit his job, decided to travel the world. Every day he created 1-minute videos on Facebook. He did this for 10,000 days non-stop. Who is he? At the end of each video, he says, that's 1 minute, see you soon. And he did this non-stop, 1,000 days. He uploaded a video every day without any exceptions. So this is Nas Daily. Maybe you are familiar. And he talks about his success story here.
I hope this video changes your life, because what I'm about to share with you changed my life. See, when I look back at all the success I've had in the past 3 years, from traveling to making videos to making money, I realized that I succeeded mainly because of one thing. And that one thing is deadlines. Deadlines are the single most important thing in my life, and here is why. Let's say you want to write a book and you have no deadline. The first day you write a little bit. The second day you write a little bit more. And because you have unlimited time, you keep working day by day on that book. And after many days, you lose interest, you never finish, and never publish. This is the classic case of giving up. I had that too all the time. But you will be amazed by how much a strict deadline can change your life. The first day you write a few words, the second day you write a bit more. But because you have to finish a book by the third day, you work your ass off to write as much as possible before the deadline. And just like that, you have written a perfectly good book and published it.
Okay, so this is the strategy. You do it every day. You seek out small victories. Small victories will give you momentum. It will enhance your confidence, eagerness. And small and consistent actions, habits every day is key. For example, as I said, I'm publishing on Medium every day. If I cannot publish every day, then I publish every 2 days. That's it. I cannot skip for too long. I have to come back. And I have to keep writing. That's the key. So be consistent, disciplined. Don't break the chain. Create every day. Do something small every day. If you establish these smart habits, you will achieve so much in the long run. Compound yourself, your skill set, your assets, your knowledge, and your networks over the long term. So this is your chance to create your own renaissance. You have a decade to do this. Let's say in the next 10 years, You can create your own renaissance. It all starts with small steps. So here is the next challenge. We came back to the squash. Here are the pumpkins. Here is the squash challenge. I want you to work in team clusters to increase the value of the squash. How do we increase the value of the squash? Try to create as many ideas as possible, please. For example, a celebrity can sign it. What else? Think of different ways to increase the value of the squash. You can use these scamper techniques, obviously. Substitute, combine, adapt, modify, magnify, minify, put it to another use, eliminate it, rearrange it or reverse it. For example, you can cut this. So you can cut this squash or pumpkin into pieces and sell it as pieces, or you can cook it, create a meal out of it. Or you can paint it, turn it into artwork, or you can turn it into an installation. So what else can you do? Please discuss and create as many ideas as you can in groups. You'll have 3 minutes to do this. Okay. Remember, your goal is quantity. The more ideas, the better. Keep writing, keep talking. Create as many ideas as you can as a group. Your goal to increase the value of the squash. Okay. Please discuss your ideas, write them down, write in the chat boxes, share your ideas. Don't judge the quality of ideas. Our goal is quantity, okay? Try to create at least 10 ideas. You can use these techniques, scamper techniques. This is used for creativity. Okay, let's turn this into like a competition. The more ideas, the better. Can you create more ideas in the same time? Your goal is to create as many ideas. Think of this as a race. Is there any group, let's say, who could create at least 5 ideas by now? Or 10 ideas by now? How many ideas do you have as a group? Try to increase the number of your ideas, please. And don't judge any ideas. Any idea is fine, okay? Don't judge based on feasibility, etc. There are no bad ideas. Your goal is maximize the quantity. You can also do it by yourself, by the way. Try to create at least 50 ideas, for example. Can you do it? Give yourself the challenge and try to do it. Please try to wrap up your work in 1 minute. As I said, the more ideas, the better. So how can you maximize the number of ideas? That's your challenge, okay? The more ideas, the better. I'll finish teamwork. Let us continue. You can use camper technique, yes. You can turn this pumpkin or squash into a painting, right? You can turn it into an installation. You can turn it into a cookbook. There are squash growers cookbooks, lots of them. Healthy cookbooks, recipes. You can turn it into recipe, yeah? And you can grow it, you know, as a grower. The architecture, like you can combine this with architecture, let's say. You can combine this squash with agriculture. You can combine it with anything, everything. Pumpkemon, you can create a brand. It is called Pumpkemon. It's a new brand. Got to grow them all is the slogan. Or there is a business even. You know, he creates squash sticks, an innovative business idea. And he's an entrepreneur and he got awards for his ideas and he's a successful entrepreneur. So what else? Here are some possible uses. You can paint it, slice it, transform it into something else. You can turn it into a sculpture, right? You can do fundraising, make it a brand, turn it into artwork. Remember the banana at Art Basel? Banana was an artwork, yeah? You can turn it into songs, poetry, rap, performance arts, theater, musical. You can use it everywhere. You can cook and sell it. You can trade it with other things in banter, exchange, create a story around it. You can use social media accounts for this. Remember the egg of Instagram? It became very popular. You can use storytelling or you can use it as a fashion item in a fashion show. Okay, so lots of opportunities. So you can also create a quote out of it. Here is my quote. If life gives you a squash, you need to squash it. Or don't, whatever. I mean, I don't want any cliches. So that's my quote. So what could be your quote? Try to create your own quote. Using a squash, create your own quote. Okay, so there are more puzzles. You can explore them, but we are running out of time. maybe just I can just actually, yeah, I'll ask them very quickly. We won't be watching the videos. He had a depressed life. He created cartoons called Life in Hell. And that cartoon series, it entered its 31st season on TV. It is a cartoon series, and his cartoon franchise is $750 million. So this is Matt Groening and The Simpsons. The Simpsons is continuing for 32 years right now. 32 years, imagine that. How much value he created. You can watch the video on this. Matt Groening is the creator, and you can watch his perspectives. Here's the next puzzle. He worked in big business. He experienced downsizing, and he created all these cartoons. His cartoons are satirical and sarcastic. He talks about white-collar work in modern business. He created a $75 million worth empire. He has lots of books, comic books. Who is he? Scott Adams and Dilbert, as you know. So this is, again, $75 million. And you can watch his interview. He talks about how to create assets, but also how he became successful. You can watch it. The next puzzle. He's one of the best animators in the world. He makes fascinating animations. And he talks about nature, technology, tradition. And he's very passionate about flying. Who is he? He has his own studio. Hayao Miyazaki. Miyazaki is one of the most talented in the world. And you can watch this video about his creations, okay? This is a very good video. But you can also watch his films. His animation movies are among the best. Along with Pixar, I think, like, he is a Japanese genius. I think you have to watch his work. You know, he's a classic. Okay, now here's your learning adventure. Now we are doing, this will be our last learning adventure of today. You will create assets, yes. Now you will practice some screenwriting. We call it word building and storytelling. There are two options to choose from. Either this poster or the next poster, okay? Let's start with this one. This is an exercise in word building and imagination. Imagine that you are a storyteller, you are an author. You will create a town and you will think of 10 main characters living in this town. Your first task, give a name to this fictional town. Write it down, please. What could the name of this town be? Where is this located? Which era is this? What is the time? Is it right now? Is it in the future? Or is it in the past? And where is this location? Okay, do it very quickly as we go through. I want you to don't think too long. The trick here is just move your hands. Your hands will do the trick, okay? Don't think too hard. Just write down whatever comes to you first, okay? And keep writing. Keep writing. That's the trick. Don't judge your ideas. That's the trick. Don't judge any of your ideas. Just keep writing, please, okay? Okay, let's continue with the second one now. You'll have to be really quick, okay? Draw a sketch map of this town, like very crude. Is there a river? Is there a mountain? Is there a lake? Are there some woods? Think about the geography of this town. Put a name. Do a very unprofessional map or something, sketch, some doodle about how it looks like. Any geographical features? Is it a seaside town? Is there a mountain? Is there a lake? Are there woods? Draw it very quickly. and come up with some bullet points about its geography. Okay. As I said, like, we will be very quick, okay? And don't judge any of your work. Let's continue the third part. Give a bit of history, a bit of background. Think about the economics of this town. What are the main sources of income? How do residents make money? Who are the richest, most powerful families here? For example, is there a very powerful family? What's the name of this family? Or maybe there are two families who are really powerful. Who are they? And what do they do? So please quickly write these in bullet points. The trick is to be really quick and not judge yourself. Keep writing. Okay, let's continue with number 4. Who are the most famous faces? Are there any colorful characters in this town? Are there outcasts? Is there any community pressure? Who lives in the neighborhood? Are there any contested issues? Are there any power games? Are there any conflicts? Why? Who are the stakeholders? So just come up with some bullet points again, quickly. Okay, the next one. What are the shared dominant values in this town? Are there any sacred things that cannot even be questioned? And who is questioning them, or who are questioning them? Okay, so think about culture, dominant values, perhaps dominant institutions. There's a school, maybe, there's a church, there's a mosque, etc. Think about the values of this town that cannot be questioned, but some people are questioning them. Who are they and why? Quick bullet points again. Keep writing. Don't stop your writing. Okay, let's continue with number 6. Of course, you can always come back to these, okay? Like, this is just the flavor of the exercise. You can always develop it further in the weekend if you are interested, okay? Number 6, think of a couple of secrets that are buried in this town. Are there any family secrets? What is dark and hidden? Is there any past violence? Who wants revenge and why? And is there forbidden law? Between whom? And why is it forbidden? Okay, so please quick bullet notes again. And in doing this, remember, you are building a fictional universe right now. As you can see, it is great fun, you know. Whenever you are starting to work on these things, it is actually great fun. Let's continue with the last one. Imagine that out of these 10 main characters, 3 of them, or maybe 4 of them, are just they have just arrived at this town, so they are newcomers. They are outsiders, okay? But they have decided to establish their lives here. They are trying to establish their lives here. They are also posing threats to the established order or established way of doing things in this town. So how do they pose a threat? There is change in the air, but how? What will happen next? So kickstart your story. What do these newcomers want? Maybe there will be some visitors, or they decided to settle down there. But they need to go through a lot of challenges. Maybe there will be some conflicts. Okay? There will be people who want to maintain statu quo. And there will be these newcomers who are challenging that statu quo. So think of a scenario of how this will work out and make some quick notes. Okay. Try to wrap it up, please. Again, you know, what is my message in this exercise? You can start small. You can do something that is really creative. It all starts with small steps, small ideas. That's it. You know, you have to start somewhere and test out. You know, if you can do it, if you love doing it. If you love doing this, continue to this exercise and continue in word building, storytelling. Tell your story, write it on your blog, publish it online and see what happens. And try to repeat this, okay? What takes is all like small steps. You don't need big ideas. Start with small ideas and implement them. Each novel starts with one sentence. Remember that. You will start with just one sentence and continue from there. Okay, I included a second exercise. We will not do it right now. But I want you to look at it whenever you want to. So here's the second exercise. You can do it on your own. If you are into science fiction, you will love it, I think. So this is the year 2120, 100 years from now, okay? A starship is leaving the Earth. There are 12 crew members on it. So you create a story, okay? First, you describe the number one, describe the starship, what's its name, think about the advanced technologies of the day. Number two, why is this starship leaving the Earth? What's the goal? Think of the reason, the backstory. What are the events that triggered this starship to leave the Earth? Number three, think of the mission. Where are they going? What's the destination? Why? And what are the obstacles, challenges ahead of our crew members? Number four, think about 10 or 12 crew members. Who are they? Where do they come from? What makes them tick? Any pains? Are they haunted by their past? What about their personalities? Does any of them have a hidden agenda? Any special talents, superpowers? Or are there any ego issues, vulnerabilities? Think about these. And then who are the biggest enemies, adversaries that this crew, this starship faces? And what are the tensions, conflicts? How do our heroes act? How do they deal with challenges? How do they transcend these obstacles? How do they face the enemy, etc.? Are there any conflict issues, trust issues among crew members? How do they resolve it? And think of a few cliffhangers and a finale that will satisfy your readers or viewers. Okay, so like just do it on your own, but I think like it is great fun imagining new words and building these new words. Yeah, it all starts with small exercises and small pieces of writing, and you can start it right away. So here's the next puzzle. He was a homeless man, but now he's a millionaire. He made it happen through entrepreneurship and edutainment. He makes raw inspirational songs for entrepreneurs. So his songs are Shopify rap, Bitcoin rap. Do you know this person? He is Chris Record, and he makes really good rap. I love his songs. He was homeless, but he is now a millionaire.
Who's on the clock? No. Keep dreaming, never stop. Yup. Sleep in till tomorrow. Got an idea that can make $1 million. Yup. Worry about what people think. No. Are you building a team? Yup. Binge watching on Netflix? No. Podcast, School of Greatness? Yup. Looking for a handout? No. Got your own biz plan now? Yup. You afraid of the dark? No. One day you're gonna pitch it to the sharks? Yup. Haters got you nervous? No. You got passion and purpose? Yup. Love working for a boss? No. One day you're gonna be your own boss? Yup. Following the rules? No. Success ain't clear? Yup. Following? No. Following? Yup. Feels like you're gonna choke? No. Hold up in the ghost? Yup. Stay within your limits? No. Straight academics? Yup. Entrepreneurs got choices. Choose to get money, keep placing these ads. Entrepreneurs got choices. Keep it 100 just like the orange hat. Entrepreneurs got choices. Tired of the drama, it's time to make bread. Entrepreneurs got choices. These haters keep hating, keep throwing me shit, but I'm never upset. Get my money in check, and I ain't got flex. I'ma stay with respect. No more negative votes. I'ma stay focused. These haters keep trying, but I'm making money online. Chris
Okay, so I'll stop here. The next one. What are the highest grossing media franchises of all the time? Two of them are Star Wars and Harry Potter. What are the other ones? Can you guess? Can you think of others? We have Star Wars, of course. We have Harry Potter. So here are some others. Pokemon, Hello Kitty, Mickey Mouse, Disney, Marvel, Batman, Spider-Man, Barbie, Toy Story, James Bond, Lord of the Rings. And you can see these are the 25 highest grossing media franchises of all the time. As you can see, at the top is Pokemon. Pokemon value is $92 billion. It's at the top. It's a Japanese brand. Hello Kitty, another Japanese brand, is $80 billion, not million, 80 billion. And then you see the others, Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh, Star Wars franchises, Disney. Harry Potter is 30 billion. Marvel is close to that. Spider-Man is 27 billion. Batman is 26 billion. Barbie is 24 billion. And you can see Pixar as well. Lord of the Rings is 19 billion, close to 20. So you can also create your own media and brands, you know, if you start somewhere. So we are almost finished. Which one is the most valuable sports team in the world? Can you guess? Which one is the most valuable sports team? It is American, of course. Dallas Cowboys. So you can see the chart here. These are the 25 top most valuable sports firms in sports teams in the world. And as you can see, Dallas Cowboys is 4.2 billion. And then we have New York Yankees, Manchester United, Barcelona, and Real Madrid, 3 European brands. And then again, all American brands. So American teams are dominating this list, especially basketball teams. And you can see how much they are worth. Okay, so you can think further about the squash as we are finishing. How can you experiment with it? And you can use, if you have leftover pumpkins, you can experiment with them, do some thought experiments, create some ideas, and then share your story with us if you want in the next class. So I wrote 2 articles and I shared them. Please read them at home. What a yellow squash can teach you about creativity. Click on the links. These are friend links. And I also introduced 7 brainstorming exercises as well as 7 lessons inspired by the squash. Also have a look and read these. Okay, so another exercise is in your slides. Please do it at home. But I also finish with the art of magic. And there's a magic section at the end. And Penn and Teller are world leaders, of course.
This is not juggling. This is misdirection. And no matter what level you are at magic, we got stuff here for you. Learning basic principles of magic, like learning chords on a guitar. Once you know a few simple principles, you can build your whole magic routine. And if you're smart enough to work silently, it brings out a huge amount of wonder.
When you don't talk, the audience has to tell itself the story, and they don't know where it's going. The basic method behind this uses sound misdirection. Palming is when you hide something in your hand. You're going to bring your whole hand around, conceal that ball, and completely close your fist. And that will make all your relatives laugh.
The simplest trick you can do involves exploring how do we know what is true.
Take those 2 ends and tie them in a double knot around each other. You know, see you later.
There's more magic in cards than anything else. You don't need to know the card. You just have to know the card next to the card.
Was that your card? If you get good at magic, you will automatically get good at a certain kind of
Magic forces you to learn about storytelling, assumptions about the way we perceive the world.
And then smash it. That's it.
You must be empathetic. You must try to see yourself through another person's eyes. And I think you have to simply say that one of the things that makes life worth living is giving other people joy.
Okay, so now we are finishing. Thank you for your patience. I have included other movies and stuff as well. You can watch them. They are in your slides. But thanks a lot for your attention today and contributions today. So you can see the QR code here again. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, everyone, and apply what we learned in your weekend. Thanks a lot, and have a nice weekend. Thank you.